Hello, everybody. Okay, I think we're live. Good afternoon. Happy Sunday afternoon. If you're not here painting with me, I hope you all were enjoying the weather. I'm kind of jealous.
Turn your chat on.
Turn my chat on.
Chat on so you can see what I type.
I can't. The chat is on. I don't know what my husband is telling me to look at, but anyway. So anyway, kind of jealous that I haven't been out to see any of the any of the sun out there today. So still just trying to get everything all ready to go here. Not seeing any comments from anybody just yet. Maybe I'll just get this going as well so I can see what's going on. Turn the video off, of course. All right. So,
Yeah.
Amanda, Sophie, and Memphis. Awesome.
I gotta find the setting for it.
Beautiful. Okay. Glad to see you guys here. The painting of today was the Australian Shepherd. Was asked to paint up this really, really awesome, funny shepherds for an Aussie group. So we're going to do that today. Puppies are amazing, all right? I get asked to do a lot of pups, and they're so popular. Everybody loves them. I would love to have one. I do not have one. I grew up with multiple puppies actually, and multiple pets in our household when I was growing up. And it's, we had a gopher in our house at one time. Like, we were that house that took in every stray. All right. And growing up, we've always lived in a house that we've had, no pet rule. Which, you know what, that's fair. That's all good. People that lived in our house before us didn't really take care of the place. They didn't take care of the lawn, and that's what happens, right? So my in-laws own the house that we live in, and when your 8-year-old grandson goes to Grandpa and says, "Grandpa, I want a dog," and your grandpa says, "No, sorry. The only pets you're allowed to have are the ones that you can eat." You know, that kind of, that didn't sit well with our son very well. So anyway, we have fish. We have lots of fish. All right. We've never had a hamster. We've never had gerbils because in my head, those are rodents, and I don't like rodents. I have a fear of mice. I hate mice. So, Jeff and Danica. Hello, Lita. Hello, Tanya. Hi, Tammy. Okay, so that was my sordid, sorrowful pet story. I had to pull that in, of course. But so my youngest son, he is the one that really, really wanted pets. He moved out in October of last year, and they've got 2 cats. So it took him moving out before he could get himself a pet. So, oh well, it happens. And a gecko. They have a gecko. So anyway, paint should be out. I gave you guys loads of time as a heads up. All right. What we're going to end up doing is going through and we're going to sketch this guy out first. Okay. So your paint should be out. I've got a couple of brushes. I'm pretty much going to use one brush. Okay. You can absolutely pull out a smaller brush. All right. The Ranger brushes, I've got this one as well. If you were to look at them, that's how much difference they are. And I've got something smaller just to give my outlines, all right? We are going to sketch it out. If you've got just a smaller one, use that, all right? Use the end of it, use the side of it, okay? You'll use it like a pencil to sketch it, okay? And, you know, when I was painting this, I actually took photos and took notes for myself. So give me one second. I have that printed out. All right. Look at that. Not quite ready to go. All right. So, see, I have the timeline of what I'm going to use for sketching this puppy. So, we're going to do it all together. All right. So, very happy to see there are 28 of you. If you don't know, if you've not tuned into session before, you know you do not have to do the live with me at a specific time. You can play the videos at any time after the fact. All right, so if you see the video later and you want to do it, hi Anna. By all means, if you're up at midnight and you want to paint, you have all your supplies, paint, okay? Paint at your leisure, okay? If you're having a really, really sucky day, sit at the table, pull all your stuff out, all right? It's a really, really, really good way to relax, all right? And get yourself out of your head and, you know, laugh at my antics because I have no filter. I've been trying really, really hard to keep the mouth having a little bit of a filter on it. So if you have been tuning in and you've been to my classes at any of the bars or restaurants, you know I spew profanities like a truck driver. I try not to do that during these sessions because I know there's a lot of kids present. So if one happens to slip out, I apologize. That's just me, okay? So, yes, he's a very cute puppy, Anna. Are you gonna check it out today? That would be awesome. Hi, Stephanie. Nice to see you today. Awesome to see 33 of you guys watching today. That's 30-ish of you. I see 30 now. Of you that aren't enjoying the sun. So that's okay. All right. This guy's not going to take all afternoon, and you guys can get outside and enjoy that sun after the fact. All right. Or watch it later. Okay. That's always your choice. Okay. So what we're going to do is, hi, Judy. How are you today? We're going to get this guy sketched out first, and then we're going to get some paint mixed. All right, so what we're going to do is take out, your smaller brush, okay? Smaller out of your two brushes, okay? Now, all I'm going to do is wet this with a little bit of water, okay? Wet a little bit of black. Okay, yeah, we'll use black. That's okay, because we're going to use a lot of color on this guy. Now, if you are painting a shepherd that is more on the gray sides, you might want to mix a light gray, okay, because it's going to be easier to cover. All right, so if you go in with the black, you're going to have a nice black outline in there, okay? It's going to be a little bit more difficult to cover when you come in with your colors, all right? So that's just a heads up, all right? If you're doing my classes, I always encourage do your own colors, okay? Hi, Anne. Nice to see you. So get your color out that you're going to start sketching with, okay? And I do use water, okay? All I've done is dipped into my cup, little bit of water, teeniest amount of black, okay? It's going to end up looking like a line of pencil, okay? And black is going to show up a little bit better for you guys here than it is at your house, okay? You'll know where you've put your lines as light as you go with your color, okay? So, first things up, I started central, okay? I started with his nose. Now, and then we build him from that way, okay? So, start at the nose, forehead, into the nose, into the mouth, and then we know where to put his eyeballs, okay? So, go with that. Now, he's not central. All right, he is kind of off to the side. I wanted to be able to see this floppy ear, and I wanted that ear to be very visible up on the side. Hello, Jolene. So get out your little bit of black, little bit of water, and your smaller of the two brushes. Okay, so first things first, let's start with this little, it's almost like a little cup at the top. Okay, off to the side. I'm going to start right about in here. Find your center, off to the side of the center. Okay, I'm going to start about right up here. All right, and very lightly pull in your first few lines. This is going to almost look like the bottom of a wine glass. Okay, think of that. Okay, all right. Now, the really cool thing about this puppy is how fun and how loose his colors are. Okay, Australian Shepherds can carry on with the blacks and the rust colors. They can go into just your rust colors. They can also go into your gray tones. Okay, so if you're going to follow my colors, awesome. If you've got a puppy at home that follows its own, sorry, I'm gonna have to turn that off. Follows its own color scheme. Follow your own color scheme. It's all good. All right, because once he's sketched, you can literally do any color you want. Okay, so we've got that section drawn. We're gonna come in and pull in this little hump off to the side. All right, and then we're gonna come in and do one side and off to the other side. All right, so those cheeks, okay, they are longer and skinnier. Okay, so I'm gonna come over and in. Okay, now you'll see I've got a lot of sketch lines. It's all good. Okay, it's no different than working with a pencil on a sketch pad. All right, no different. But remember, he is going to have a nose through that center, so make sure that he's pretty wide. Okay, I think I'm good with how wide he is. So from there, we're going to dip down and dip down, pulling in his lip. All right, now it's almost going to resemble almost like a bum. All right, think of a bum. All right, now in between that bum crack, that's where we're going to put his nose. Now the nose comes up to about halfway through those cheeks. Okay, yeah, disregard this line, I messed up. And then a little bit of a rounded top. Okay, almost like a square without the corners, rounded on those corners. Okay, and pull it down, and then it's going to curve in around the nostril until you come and meet it in towards that lip. Okay, now that line's going to be totally okay there because we're going to end up putting a highlight in there anyway. So look at that, it worked out. All right, so if you were to take a peek at it, look at that. We can even just sketch in those nostrils. Look at that, it's actually looking like a nose. All right, so from there, how are you guys doing? You guys doing okay? Everybody's got the nose of a puppy? I would hope so. All right. Hopefully everybody's doing awesome. So when you are starting with your paint, all right, I'm just going to give you the lowdown. Be careful with your acrylics if you're working with acrylics. Acrylic does not like fabrics. Well, I should say it likes fabric so much that it doesn't like to come off. Okay, so if you do get something on your clothes, get it washed off right away. All right, don't try to let it dry and just say, you know what, I'll wash it later. Don't do that. You'll be left with it forever. Okay, you've got a friend for life. All right, so if you've got an apron, aprons are always a good idea. Painting clothes, good idea as well. If you're okay with getting paints on your clothes, that is your choice. Okay, so totally up to you. All right, so you should have your nose. Next up, we're going to come in under those lips and with a slight curve about halfway through those cheeks, you're going to curve it in so that it meets up towards that. Yes, happy little accident. Absolutely. Hi, Katrina. How are you? All right. So you're going to pull in 2 little curves that meet halfway through that lip. Okay. And it's almost going to look like a little bit of a fang before we pull in that tongue. All right, now this is where he's going to start getting a little bit of a personality. All right, if you're going to give him a big, sloppy, drooly tongue, you can make that tongue as big as you want. All right, it's your puppy. So, anyway, make it count. All right. All right, so next up, we'll put these little pieces in. Well, you know what? Let's put them in now. So we're going to pull those slightly down. Slightly down. Now, this is just the lip underneath his mouth. All right, we'll end up painting that black later. Thanks, Katrina. Hope you guys are painting puppies. I know you guys are dog lovers over there. So I hope that's happening on your end. Okay, so once you've got that tongue, all right, next up, we're going to come in and do those eyes. Okay, so eyeballs. Remember this little hump we put on the one side? This little hump? I started on the left-hand side, and I started where that hump starts, and I pulled it up and over. Okay? And then out and under. Okay? And then I just played around with a round circle. Okay? Now, I'm taking a look at it from, and I'm just going to make sure that that eye is almost a little bit more straight than it was. Okay, so we know we started on that side, okay, where we started. Now we know where to start on the opposite side. Okay, so same thing. Pull in that eye around the top and level it out. It's almost going to look like a speed bump, all right? So you come in from the sides, up and down. All right, it's going to level off on either side. Okay, and then you're going to come in along the bottom and do the other side. All right. Okay. So we've got eyeballs, we've got noses, we've got tongues. All right. I hope everybody's doing awesome. Yes. There's nothing wrong with a colorful house. My house is very colorful. Did you notice I have clouds on the boards right behind you guys? That would be a big community hall sign going out to one of our neighboring little communities. And I'll just, you can't see. Yeah, you can sort of see. It's just got a mustard yellow bottom right now because I'm planning on doing wheat fields down there and a grain elevator. So, and then hoping to have it out of my house within the week. That would be awesome. Because hoping that we can start packing up 25 years of living in the same house where we've never ever downsized. So you guys that have had a chance to move once or twice or 3 times, and you've been able to throw stuff out and downsize and keep what is important and get rid of the crap that isn't important, good on you. I'm jealous. All right, because totally not looking forward to that. Hey, Shannon. Awesome. Thank you. Yes, that is one of my favorite paintings. I did not paint that painting. I fell in love with that painting as soon as I saw it. That is a painting by another local artist named Allison Anton. And if you were to go into the Olive Tap downtown on 2nd Street, you would see that Carmen brings in a lot of her artwork. And she is such a cool artist. She actually incorporates things into the painting like buttons and feathers and books, literature, different things, you know, like they're just really cool. This one I fell in love with because of her bright hair and the bright colors in it, and it's got glitter. Come on, I like glitter. All right, yeah, packing is not going to be nice. So, that's okay. Yeah, if you were to even look her up if you were to Google her, Allison Anton, just take a look at her stuff. It's so cool. If you read her bio, she takes a lot of ordinary people that have really distinguishable features and just makes them just the quirkiest paintings. For example, a lot of her paintings are of portraits of people with like bigger featured noses or bigger eyes or, you know, bigger foreheads. And then she plays with that and just makes it super cool. So anyway, I'm happy to see that Calgary is joining us. That's awesome. I know Kiri and Tony are with us, and they were part of the Aussie group. So absolutely awesome to have everybody here today. So you should have noses, the bridge across the nose, lips, tongues, eyeballs. All right, now I am just going to paint in just a loose, bigger pupil in those eyes. All right, now they can always be fixed, but until he's Athabasca. Nice. Oh, Jolene is from Saskatchewan. Awesome. And Regina. Oh, where is everybody from with the Aussie group? Okay, we've got Regina and Calgary, Saskatchewan, Medicine Hat, Athabasca. That's awesome. You guys are awesome. Thanks for tuning in. Okay, so we've got eyeballs. Next up, let's start pulling in. Let's come above here. All right. Because once we've got that area above his head, we know where to start his ears. All right. It's always trying to find landmarks when you're pulling in different things when it comes to faces and bodies. Okay. So I'm going to come above here. See? Above here. And I'm going to pull in almost what's going to look like peaks or the top of a lip almost. All right, so a little bit of a peak, a little bit higher on that left-hand side, shorter on the right-hand side. Okay, so now that we have that area in, now we know where to put his ear. But we're not going to come and do that ear just yet. We're going to put in his eyebrow first. The eyebrow is going to come in and follow that curve of our wine glass bottom. Remember the wine glass? Well, from there, we're going to follow that curve up, pull it up and over, and we're just going to let it fall. Okay? Awesome. And we're going to do the other side as well. Followed up and fall down. Okay, so pull them up and just trail them off at the top there. Okay, so we've got this brow, this brow. Now we know where to start that ear. We're going to leave a little bit of a space. Okay, about a finger width. Put a finger between that peak and where our ear is going to start. Okay. And I'm going to follow it up and down and out. Give him a cool ear. All right. It's fluffy. It just kind of plays around off to the side. And then where we feathered is off down here, that's where we're going to start with that ear. We're going to loop it. So little bits of a curve. And then we're going to pull it down and follow that ear. Okay. So I'm going to pull that ear down like that and like that. Okay. That's the good part about sketches. You start looking at things and it's like, oh, I should probably bring that curve out a little bit. All right. So we want to bring that curve all the way down. And remember how I had this in there? Yeah, we don't want to curve that out. So curve it out, okay? That's one ear. On to the next. So same finger width apart. Okay, and we're going to start bringing it up. All right. Brittany. Nice to Brittany and Janae. Sorry, Janae. Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. Do it. Make your puppy into puppies you have at home, you guys. That's the whole point. All right. Play around with your colors. Do what you want. Make it your own. Okay. It does not have to follow this color scheme. Okay. So we've got an ear. We've got another ear. Now, above those eyeballs. All right, we're going to start pulling in these two sections above the eyes. All right, so kind of a fun eyebrow above those eyeballs. Okay, so see this space between the forehead or the bridge of the nose and his eye? We're going to start in the corner. We're going to start in both corners. Okay. And so we're going to start pulling it up, and it's almost going to wobble around until you reach the opposite side. Okay? It's almost going to look like a fun little brow right above that eye that connects from the corner, and it'll connect at this corner. All right? It's almost going to look like a cat eye. Okay? And you're going to do that on both sides. Start in the corner. Okay, and it's going to curve and curve and curve. Okay. Awesome. Now, they do not have to be exact. Okay, so I know I have usually a lot of A-type personalities here. And that's okay. That's totally okay. But he is so free with the brush stroke. Nothing is perfect about him, okay? Puppies do not have spots that are exactly the same on each side, okay? So don't be fretting that one is bigger than the other side, one is smaller than the other side, okay? Just, you need to let it go, okay? All right, so from here, we're going to come and do the bottoms. All right, so this side, we're just going to bring it around and curve it. Pull it in. All right, and then this side, we're just going to jag it a little bit on one side, and we're going to curve it down, and it's going to come in. Okay. Those are just the patches under his eye that are going to match above his eye, okay? Same color. All right. So, how are your guys' paintings looking? Are they starting to look like puppies? They should be. Can't wait to see you guys post these ones. All right. That's probably one of my most favorite times of the day is sitting back and taking a look at all the paintings people start posting. And it's pretty awesome. I love seeing that. Okay. So once you've got the top of his face in, next up, we're going to bring in his little beard. All right. Now beards, going to start about halfway between cheek and bottom of his lip. Okay, about halfway. All right, so find your halfway point. Okay, put a little tick and a little tick. Okay. You know what? They are supposed to be funny. Trust the process, Jolene. Okay, it's just a sketch. Wait until you start getting in there with color. I promise it'll turn out. All right, absolutely. Okay, so beards. I'm going to come in and I'm going to come out and start pulling it down, curve it out. All right, and it's just going to start coming down and having some fun with that, that beard. Okay, lots of movements. All right. Lots of movement. Okay. Lots of movement. Like I said, just a sketch. If we end up playing around with those colors and making it bigger or thicker after the fact, that's absolutely doable. Okay. So beard should be in. Next up would be these colors on the side. Okay. Now I'm going to start on this side, and where we pulled in this section here, I'm just going to come off of that. All right, so we're going to come out and pull out a few scraggly curves that line up to about halfway through his tongue. Let's use that as a reference point. Okay, and then we're going to do the other side as well. Okay, we're going to start this one halfway through his under eye. Okay, so I'm going to start it about right here, pull it down, and start pulling in those loose pieces beside his cheek. Okay, awesome. I'm kind of thinking I should probably give you guys a little bit to catch up a little bit. Okay, because it feels like I'm going through this really fast. It sucks when I can't see how everybody is doing. But yeah, we're almost done with the sketching, and then the painting this guy is going to take no time at all. So get your sketches in. All right, that's probably what's going to take the longest, is just making sure that he looks like a puppy. Okay, and you know what? If he is a really, really abstract puppy, it's not a bad thing either. Okay, not a bad thing at all. All right. So we've got the most part of him done in his face. Okay. Next step would be just pulling in the side of him. Okay, now I'm going to start. See where we've got that ear where it hoops or loops, humps. All right, I'm going to start kind of where that ear starts to round, okay, or curve. All right, and I'm going to start bringing in the furry shagginess of that puppy. I'm going to come down from almost halfway through that ear, I would think. And I'm going to follow it down to that corner, everybody. Okay? So that's going to be my reference points. Depends on how fuzzy you want him to be, how furry. But you're going to follow through from halfway through that ear down to the corner. This side's he's off to the side, all right? If you've got him more towards the center and you've got room to put in a little bit of a shape on this side, by all means, go for it. All right, the only thing I'm going to put in here is where his ear is going to sit, all right? And it's pretty close to where his eye sits, all right? Right through there. So all I'm going to do is just go just like that. Okay? All right. That's my puppy. I'm going to wash that brush out. All right. And I'll give you guys a few minutes to get caught up with him. Okay? Now, if you need, let's move this up so that you guys can see a little bit. And we'll give you a few minutes. All right. So I've got all of my paintings pulled out for the next few weeks. All right. I did get into the other room and dug through all of those paintings to find the Spider-Man one that we're going to do on Wednesday. All right. While I was digging, I did a count. Imagine 209 canvases in that spare room. All right, that's how many canvas I had to dig through to find the Spider-Man one. And I figured, well, I might as well count through these. So anyway, I've pulled out a few that I want to do over the next few weeks. Wednesday will be Spider-Man. Friday will be the grain elevator. I've got those posted. All right, the week after, I'm thinking I might do flowers and lanterns. Okay, just because I've had quite a few people request the lantern. And I've also, it's spring. You know, I'm done with this winter crap. I want to do colorful. All right, so I've pulled out the big daisy. But I think I've got a few here, and I'll show you guys, and you guys can let me know which one you prefer. Okay, so put this puppy back. Okay. So, oh, you know what? Maybe that's what we'll do. I had lots of people request Aurora Borealises. Okay, maybe we'll do that one instead of the daisy. Or just within the next few weeks, we'll do that one too. But, so, this is Spider-Man. This will be Wednesday. Okay? See, super cool. I love this painting. Lots of cool brush strokes and lots of color and lots of different techniques for the kids. Okay, so we'll be doing this one on Wednesday at 2. All right. And then Friday, I showed you as well the grain elevator. Okay, that'll be Friday, 6:30. Now, for the week after that, these are the 4 I've got out. So Let me know which ones you guys like the best. All right. That's the daisy. All right. Lots of fun colors. Lots of fun colors with that one. All right. This is the Aurora one I pulled out. I haven't done this one in a really long time, and I thought that it would be really, really good to do right now. So yeah, just with everything that's going on, might be fun. Okay. And then, of course, the lantern needs to be done. Okay, that's the lantern. The lantern's lots of fun. Yeah, the Aurora one is super cool. The lantern one is equally as cool. And then, of course, I've had some requests for the owl. Okay, so those will be on the agenda over the next few weeks. Okay, so give me a message, post on here which ones you guys like best. But yeah, that will just determine which ones I do first. All right, but I've already pulled them out. We'll do them up. All right, I know there's another one I want to do as well, and it's a peacock's feather. So we'll be doing that one as well too. I did put that one out close to the top so I could just grab that one. All right. So yes, the owl. Yes, Amanda will do the owl. Definitely do the owl. Okay. You're very welcome, Judy. I'm glad you guys could tune in today. You know, like I know with the weather the way it is right now, painting probably wasn't the first thing on your agenda today, but pretty happy. I have like 25 of you guys steadily in here today, so that's awesome. All right. Yeah, the lantern. I think it's probably that mix between the teals and the purples that everybody loves. So definitely we'll be doing those too. Okay. All right. So he should be sketched in. Let's get some colors mixed. Okay. So the first, when I'm going through colors, I tend to go light to dark. Okay. Just because it's easier to go that way, just so that our lights don't end up turning, you know, that really, really ridiculous shade of poop color. Okay. Awesome. Daisy, owl, and yes. See, that's why I absolutely need to do the Aurora one. Yeah. I loved that meaning, the saying, not all those who wander are lost, because we're not, you know, we just, yeah, sometimes I wish I was more lost, but it's just the way it is. And the owl, I'll definitely post probably on a Wednesday in the afternoon for the kids. Okay, so haven't seen the lantern. Janice, right here. Nice to see you, Janice. That's the lantern. Okay, so the lantern we will definitely be posting probably on a Friday evening, and yeah, that's what we'll be doing. Okay, so next week, remember, Spider-Man, and then oh my gosh, grain elevator. All right, and then, yeah, we'll do probably the owl and the lantern the next week. Okay, so 2 purplies, tealies, pinky paintings, which, you know, are okay. Different colors that people really, really love now. So, all good. Okay, so first color we're going to mix is just a light yellow. All right. So you're going to take your bigger brush, and all I'm going to do is take that yellow, and I'm not going to add too much. It's just a little bit, all right? And I'm going to mix that into a little bit of my white, all right? And I'm going to leave that, okay? Not too much mixed. You don't want it bright, bright, bright. You just want it to be a little bit just a kind of a hint of yellow. All right, not too bright. Okay, and then with that same brush, you do not have to wash it. Hello from Whitecourt. Hi, Shirley. How are you? Nice to see you today. So you're going to take that same brush. Don't wash it. All right. We're going to take that brush. You're going to mix a little bit. Go into your red. Okay. Start small. You're going to add that to your yellow. All right. Now I am going to go into a little bit more because I want it kind of a bright orange. All right, now those of you that are starting with a brown base, okay, mixing a brown is starting with your red and yellow first. Okay, start with your red and yellow, okay, and then you're going to add a little bit of black, okay. You definitely want more red in that if you're mixing a brown, okay. So, meaning tiny bit of black. And I am going to mix a teeny bit of a brown base. I'm not going to mix a whole lot because I do want a lot of that orange. But there you go. That's as easy as brown gets, okay? It's, if you want it more of that chocolate color, it's going to go a little bit more red. Okay, if you keep it on the yellow side, it's going to take on a green consistency and look like diarrhea poop. Okay, you need to get it more on that red side. Okay, if you want to lighten it, you'll add a teeny bit of white to it. Okay, that's just going to give you that kind of almost like that dirty blonde kind of color, okay? Color of my roots when it's not white and pink. I cannot wait until I'm able to go get my hair done. Oh, this is like the COVID do right now. It's just, I did do it yesterday. It was washed and I braided it and did little ponytails on the side and it was super cute and I slept in it and thought maybe I'll take it out this morning and I'll have all these fabulous little, kinks and curls from the braids. Yeah, that didn't happen. Yeah, it got shoved up on top of my head like it usually does. Now, it does look really cool when, I do it, but it's just, we don't leave the house and that's where it goes. It gets piled up on top of my head. Because it's easy, and I'm lazy. That happens. You know what? I've thought about doing that, Judy. Yeah, I think my husband would divorce me if I chopped off all my hair. I haven't had it that short since my oldest son was just a baby. Oh, I don't care. Go for it, he says. Yeah, not doing it. I'm not there yet. I might in the future, but right now, not there yet. So once you've got your browns, your oranges, you can wash that brush out. All right. Now, next up is, Amanda, do you remember my hair being that short? You were still in town then. God, Griffin was just a baby. He might have been the same. No, he wouldn't have been the same age as Tanisha. How old is Tanisha these days? Griffin's 20. He'll be 22 this year. How old is she? How's the baby? God, you had posted the pictures and video of the visit with them and the baby, and I'm not gonna cry. I just about cried. Yeah. The short hair was not very pretty. Yeah, I didn't think she was that young. I figured she was a little older. So, but yeah, that makes sense. 27. Makes sense. Yeah, 5 years before I had Griffin. So, Yeah, I've seen photos. Both of those girls are beautiful. You just have a really, really, really good line of genetics, dude. Because all the women, yourself included, are beautiful in your family. So, anyway, next up, teal. All right. Now, I really, really liked the teal in the background with this because teals and oranges look really, really good together. Okay. So, yes, we are. We are getting old. Yeah, your reds and your blues. Think of that. Reds and blue, or no, oranges and blues look best together. All right. They are direct opposites on that color wheel. Anything that is exact opposite to each other are its exact complementary colors. Orange and blue are two of them. All right. That's why rusts and teals look so good together. Okay. So next up would be that teal. All right. So you're going to take that clean brush. Thanks, Amanda. And what you're going to do is a little bit of yellow. Okay. A little bit. Add that to a little bit of your blue. Now, the more yellow you add, the more green it's going to go. Okay, remember that. Start small with that yellow because if you add it too much all at once and you don't like that color, it's a whole waste of paint. Okay, so always start small. So once you've got that yellow in there, you're going to add a scoop of white. Okay. Once that white's in there, it's going to start taking shape, okay? Now, if you want it to go more towards the turquoise, you're going to add a little bit more yellow, okay? That is your choice. If you like the greens, go for it, okay? And I am going to add a teeny bit more white. All right. So I'm bordering on that turquoisey. And that's okay. I'm good with that. Okay, because I can always add a little bit of blue and a little bit more white right to the canvas. Okay, we are going to come through and do that side first. Okay, so get your color the way you want it. All right, get a starting color. Now, not too much. You don't need a whole lot. And you're going to keep the color on that brush, okay? Hey, Olivia, nice to see you. Going to paint for your video, awesome. No, you absolutely pull it up later and that way you can stop it, pause it. There's a lot going on with this sketch, okay? Lots. So I anticipate lots, just going to watch it and then wait until they can play it again and then just kind of take their time with it. So, and that's good. That's why I've kept all of the videos up, all right, so that everybody can paint at their leisure, all right. I like the live because I like to be able to see the comments and interact. I'm just that social person. So I like to be able to have the ability to see who's all here and who's all painting with me. Okay, but yeah, if you're here just to watch the hilariousness that ensues with whatever comes out of my mouth, awesome. Come back later and paint, okay? There's nothing wrong with that. Okay, so take that same brush, okay? You can see I still have blue kind of on there. I've got my kind of tealy, turquoisey green. That's what I'm going to start with. Okay, now I'm going to start at the top corner. And just very loosely, I am going to go over a lot of that outline. Okay, now I'm looking at it and I think I might want to add a little bit of a different tone to that. Hello, Sandy. Nice to see you. Not gonna lie, I missed you ladies this week. That sucked. We had to cancel. So I'm gonna add a little bit of blue right to my brush. okay, right to my brush, and a little bit of white right to my brush, okay? And look at that. I'm going to add a slightly different tone to that background. Now, if I were just to add white to that brush, look at what it does. All right, it just really lightens up that background. All right. Now, I like the blue in there. I'm going to pull in a little bit more blue. Right to my brush. I'm going to come through and very gentle mix and blend into that background. Very, very gently. Okay. Absolutely. I miss all of my ladies that come and paint with me a few times a month. This isolation sucks a whole bunch of monkey butt, but you know what? It'll be over soon enough. We just gotta, stay on the positive side and just hope that it's, we come out of it stronger and better people for it, right? All right, so if you're liking that tone, add it. If you really like the turquoisey you started out with or the green you started out with, whichever, all right, it's up to you. You can add color and mix it right on there, and it will blend as long as it's still wet. Okay, so play around with those colors. Okay, you're gonna follow through very loose and gentle around the fur. We will be going over most of that all over again. Now, if there is an outline in there that you don't like around that edge, paint over it, you guys. All right, we're giving this puppy a little bit of an outline. Always do the backgrounds first. Okay. All right, so I'm just going to paint a straight edge down there because I know I'm going to end up coming around and just painting in those pieces of fur. So I'm going to pull it in just a little bit. All right. How are your backgrounds looking? I really like that blue in there. So I'm going to add a little bit more of it. Now, I'm a big fan of playing with color and trying new things. All right. The thing is, if it doesn't turn out, you know what? You wait for it to dry, you paint over it. Okay? It's simple. If you like the whites in there, add more. All right? As long as it's still wet, it's going to blend. Okay? Yeah, I really like that white in there. So I'm going to streak in just a little bit more. And then there comes a point when you just have to look at it and be happy with it. So I'm going to stop right there. Hey, Liz. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to packing and moving. Well, I am, but I'm not looking forward to doing it. All right, so when you've got that background, you know what? You're going to wash that brush out, okay? Because we are going to start with our lightest colors first. We're going to start with the nose and the eyes and his beard. And then we're going to start going in from light colors to darker colors, all right? And then we'll finish off with our darkest color. Okay, so when you're done that background, wash that brush out, okay? Now, I told you this is where it's going to start going really, really fast. So I'm just going to try to give you guys a little bit of a break between colors just to catch up, okay? So wash your brush out and then, yeah, make sure that you've got your colors there for your puppy, okay? Make sure you've got all the tones that you need. A lot of these tones we mix right on the canvas, but you do need a base to start with, okay? For example, all right, if you take a look at him, I start with my base and then I incorporate a little bit of yellow and white in there, okay? Same goes with the fur above his eye, okay? Same goes with here. Look, I started with a little bit of that yellow and added more white. All right, same with his fur. Started dark and I actually added the teal to his fur. He's lots of fun, all right? Really, really nice, bold colors. So play around with him, okay? He's not meant to be flat, okay? And when you start getting in there with your colors, don't overplay your colors, okay? When I say don't overplay, don't continually go over and over and over and over. You want to be able to see all of those brush strokes. You want to be able to see all of those tones. All right. If you continue to go over and 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 over something, it's going to take on the consistency of a flat mud. Okay. And you want to be able to see all of those tones, all of your highlights, your lowlights, all those really fantastic colors that make that dog pop, all right? Make him not look so flat, okay? I hope that makes sense. All right, so once you have gotten your background done, I'm going to start with doing the whites of his eyes, okay? So I'm going to take out my smaller brush, okay? Smaller brush, a little bit of my white, and you could add a teeny amount of black. Like, I mean the smallest amount. All right, like mostly white. And I've just got the teeniest amount on there. Now, all that's going to do is just, and that might even be too much. All right. So make sure it's not a lot, because you don't want gray eyes, but you don't want totally white either, okay? You want it almost an off-white. Okay, cover the whites in your eyes, both sides. Try not to put your hands in your background color like I just did. Oh my gosh. I was, what was I painting the other night? Oh, Friday night. And I kept putting my hand into my painting and it was just irritating as all heck. All right, so eyeballs. Now, if you have outlines in there that you need to cover, you may have to come back and recover it, okay? All right, if you had that gray, that would be a good opportunity to cover that, all right? If you had that gray coming. If it's not covering very well, okay? That little bit of a gray in there will cover it, all right? If the white's not doing it, okay? So then you'll wash that brush out, okay? Next up will be that nose. Now, the cool part of a lot of our line work, a lot of it works for outlining, okay? So, and that's cool. He's got a lot of really, really bold outline happening with him. And yeah, that's just gonna help us when we pull in all of that line work, all right? Or trying to cover all of our sketch lines, all right? For the most part, we'll cover most of them, but a lot of them, we're gonna go completely right over top of them, okay? So, wash that smaller brush out. Oh my gosh. And then I'm going to go back to my bigger brush. Okay. So, bigger brush, we're going to come in and do around his nose. Okay, I'm going to start with that light yellow. And I'm going to start covering inside the lines. Okay, I'm going to come down through the center, and all I'm going to do, I'm going to add white to my brush, okay? White added to that brush is going to really lighten around that nose now, okay? So I'm going to come around, and again, if you've got a lot of outlines happening, you may have to come over and do it again. Okay? However, that's okay. Okay? We want just a slightly lighter yellow, even lighter, almost like an ivory almost, around those cheeks. A little bit brighter through the bridge of the nose, lighter around the outer edge, okay? All right, so you should have, you see, brighter yellow towards the forehead, light around the face, around his cheeks, okay? Now, same brush, okay? This is where it's gonna get kind of cool. Same brush. All I'm going to do is see where I've mixed my little bit of my teal. I'm going to add a teeny bit of that teal to my brush. Okay, we need to add in a little bit of a shadow around that nose. So with that little bit of that kind of tealy white on the end of that brush, I'm going to follow around that nose all the way around. Okay, start at the bottom, follow the curve of the nose, and finish it on the opposite side. Okay, same thing, a little bit of that teal. I'm going to come around that first hump, and I'm going to follow it around this cheek. Okay, and you know what, just for posterity's sake, I'm going to do the other side too. Okay, just a little bit of a shadow. All right, a little bit of a shading. Okay, see? It's going to look cool, I promise. Trust the process. Trust the process. All right, so when you're done with that, wash your brush out. Okay, we're going to go in with that light yellow again. With a clean brush, get rid of the teal in there. And we're going to come in underneath his beard, okay? So, lighter, we're going to start with that light yellow. Okay? I'm going to start at the top. Start coloring in that beard. Now, that beard, you can play around with your lighter kind of ivory. You can start pulling in more whites or even a little bit more yellow. Okay, so I've got mostly that kind of ivory white, really light yellow on that brush. I'm going to add a teeny bit more yellow to the brush. Okay, and I've covered the top part of our beard closest to his jaw. Okay, what I'm going to do with that darker yellow is come in and start streaking in towards the bottom. Follow the shape of that tongue. Yeah, I'm going to give you guys a moment as soon as we're done with this, Judy. Okay, absolutely. Okay, so that little bit of a brighter yellow, you're going to follow suit with the bottom of his beard. Okay, now the cool thing about that that beard. All right, so we've got lighter underneath his jaw, brighter yellow towards the bottom. You can add a little bit of white right to that brush, and you can streak in a little bit of that extra white. All it's going to do is create a little bit of that different tonal value in and around that beard. Okay, so I'm going to let you guys catch up. Okay, absolutely. Like I said, right between sections and colors, I'll give you guys a few minutes, all right? So when you're done with our foreheads and our mouth, our beards, you can wash that brush out, okay? Because next up, I think we'll do eyeballs next, okay? But yeah, we'll let you guys catch up, all right? All right. So, I think it was my husband that was saying that, Brooks went from 0 cases to like 30, like overnight, because somebody had caught this virus at the packing plant. But yeah, that's crazy. It's crazy. And all of these rules that they're setting aside for everybody, it's crazy. It's getting kind of scary out there, everybody. Not enjoying that. I would like to be able to just go to the grocery store and not have to worry. I think somebody had said, it was Regina. Actually. We have friends in Regina, and Paul had posted something today, I think it was this morning, that they were putting a new rule in place that only one family member from each family are allowed to shop at a time. So I know my husband and I are having a really hard time with that, because we do most of our shopping together. That's like considered date night for us. So it sucks when one of us has to sit in the car and wait for the other one to come out. But, you do what you have to, right? But when they're talking about giving you fines for not following protocol, that sucks. But, and I know that there was a group in town, the Medicine Hat Care Society. Somebody was holding a garage sale yesterday. Oh my gosh, you'd think it was the second coming of frickin' Christ coming up. Hello, Della. How are you? Awesome. Nice to see you. I have to... Yeah, no, absolutely. If you have to layer your paints, you can absolutely take the time to do that. All right, but yeah, somebody in town was doing a social or physical distance garage sale yesterday. And it wasn't really a garage sale. It was a free-for-all garage sale where people had donated. So you could come in and take things as you need, and then they were accepting donations. I think that's what was happening. But, they had done everything to protocol. They were totally going with the distanced placards, and they had gloves, they had hand sanitizer there. Everything was packaged in plastic and dark yellow just along the bottom, Shirley. Okay, so just along the bottom of your beard, all right? But, and they had talked to Alberta Health Services, they had talked to Medicine Hat Police Service, and they were doing everything by, the rules, and still people jumping down their throats, that's the worst thing I'm having with all of this. It's just all of these newfound people that carry all of these newfound doctorate degrees and have degrees in policing, and I can't wrap my head around it. So that was the whole point of trying to get everybody to do these sessions online. And that's why I'm doing them for free, because there's so many people out of work right now. Was just to get you guys to get out of your head for a couple hours a week, all right? And not have to think about all the crap show that's going on outside your houses. So I've had such a good response with doing these sessions that, I think I've told a few of you before that I will continue to do a few of the sessions online through the month, because there are a bunch that, don't like going out into crowds, and a lot of people do have social anxiety. I know my son has that too, so it sucks, right? It sucks, but you have to do what you have to do. So yeah, I'll be doing these after the fact as well, hopefully from the new studio in our house. Hopefully. We'll see. We shall see. Yes, have new quarantine careers. Oh, I'm going to be working myself out of a job. All of you guys have been showing me all of your painting. It's like, holy, that's really good. Do I need to be worried? Holy crap. Awesome. So we should have beards and noses should be done. Okay, next up, let's get our eyes in. Okay. If you have to put another coat on those whites, please do that first. I know I do. I have a line that I can still see, and it's just irritating me. Okay. All right. I know they're fear-based, but if you have to be, in somebody else's face and, absolutely being rude and mean and just belligerent, and you yourself, shouldn't be out, those are the ones I just... They just upset me, Sandy. It's those keyboard warriors. If you don't like something, scroll past it. All right? Don't sit there and fight online and just be a complete ass. So, yeah, we do have to just keep doing our own thing. All right? But that's the thing. People aren't doing their own thing. They're policing everybody else and thinking they're the boss, and those are the ones I want to give a nice karate chop to the frickin' throat. So anyway, okay, I'm done with this. So, yeah, exactly. Okay, so eyeballs. Eyeballs are next. Now, a really cool thing about Australian shepherds are the fact that many of them have the two colored eyeballs. Okay, I love that. All right, so one eye going to be brown, the other one going to be blue. Since I already have white on this brush, I'm going to go into my blue. Okay, so when you're doing eyeballs, you need your color and white. Okay, so I already have white on my brush. I've just added blue to it. Okay, so I know that pupil is going to be in there. I am going to go over top of it. All right, so over top, that blue is still really, really bright. I'm going to add a lot more white to it. Now, I usually streak that color in very light and loose. The more white you have, the more glassy that color is going to look. Okay. All right. And then you're going to let that eyeball dry. Okay. So I've streaked in my white. I've got my blue. It is not a solid color. Okay. You should be able to visibly see tones of white, tones of blue. Okay. And then you'll wash that brush out. Our next eyeball is our brown eyeball. Now I've got that brown base. I am going to darken it up just a teeny bit for my eye. Okay, just so that it's a little bit of just a darker shade of brown, more of a chocolate brown. All right, so I've got my darker brown. Okay, and again, a little bit of white. Okay, and you're going to streak that color in on the opposite side. Now this is where you're going to start getting rid of outlines. Okay, you're going to carry that color right over, cover that outline. You should have nice tones of white and dark on that eyeball. Now, if you can still see your pupil line underneath, that's okay, all right? Because we are going to pull that pupil in later, okay? Those are my eyeballs, all right? And then you're going to wash that brush out. I'm going to go back to my bigger brush. Okay, so get your eyeballs filled in and wash your brush out. I'll give you guys just another minute, okay? All right. You guys have, it's really, really funny because when I was growing up, my dad always had a favorite glass. And yeah, this would be mine. It is the oldest bloody glass, but it's a big, big cup. It carries a lot of bloody liquid in it. So it is my cup. All right, I think it was at one point a Big Gulp cup. Big Gulp cups come from 7-Eleven. 7-Eleven was just around the corner from my house growing up. So we had lots of those cups. And this one followed me from home. And it's like, if I know I can get through 3 or 4 of these a day, I know I've got my water intake in. So that's what usually happens. But it's the grossest looking glass. Yeah, it's one of those glasses that, you know, has the bite marks around the edge and just, yeah, it is what it is. Whatever. Right now it's just Crystal Light. Got a little bit of a Hawaiian vibe because it's the tropical vibe. It's the pineapple coconut. So that would be for this afternoon and possibly something later for after. So we'll see. We'll see what kind of a mood I am in. All right, so eyeballs should be in. Once you've got them colored, let them dry. Okay, next up, let's get that tongue in. Okay, so tongue, you're going to take your big brush. All right, now I'm going to go into my red. Now the red that I was kind of mixing with my orange. All right, I'm going to go into that red. Okay, like that, a little bit of white. Okay, red and white. Yeah, definitely a must pack. It won't get left. Okay, so I've got my orangey red and white on that brush. Now I'm going to come in and fill in that tongue. Now those 3 colors on that brush are almost going to mix into an orangey, kind of pinky red. Okay? You don't want it totally red. You don't want it totally white. All right? You don't want it totally pink. Okay? But you are going to streak in that color. And when you streak it in, you're going to get all those awesome tones. Okay? That's what you want. Okay? Fill in that whole bottom. Okay? The bottom of that tongue is hanging outside the mouth. It's going to be the lighter piece of the tongue. Once we get towards the top, it's going to get a little bit darker. All right? So I am going to go right into my red. Okay? Just red. And I'm going to follow that cheek, or not cheek, but the top of my lips. And I'm just going to streak that red in and just kind of feather it down. All right, giving that top of my tongue a little bit of a shading of darker red. All right. And then we're going to let that dry. Now, if you would like to add a little bit more red, you can. But you may have to let it dry a little bit. All right. It may just end up mixing right into that tongue. Okay. All right. Once I'm done with that, you know what? I'm not going to wash my brush. All right. Because I'm going to go into my oranges and my browns next. Excuse me. So I am going to wipe off the excess because I still have white in there. And that's going to be a little bit on the pinky side. Okay. So I still have that red, a little bit of white on that brush. I'm going to start with my kind of rusty browny orange. Okay. And let's start under the eyes. Let's start under the eyes first. Okay. So you're going to pull in that color. You're going to visibly see a little bit of that red in there. That's awesome. Paints under those eyes. Pull in those shades towards the outer edges. Okay. Now, if it seems to be really dark, okay, you can add a little bit of your brighter orange, and you could play around with your whites too, you guys. All right. Like I said, you can play around, streak in a little bit different of a shade. You can let it dry a little bit as well, okay? And then I'm going to go on to my next eye, all right? So I've got my brownie, I've got my orange, I've even added my white onto that brush. Let's do the opposite eye, all right? Streak that color in. I'm in close to the nose, okay? Having all of those colors on your brush at the same time will pull a really cool streak of tonal color onto that canvas. Okay, so it's just going to just pull in a nice lighter touch, darker touch, all at the same time. Okay, and that's cool. All right. I'm going to come around and do the above eye. All right, so again, I've got my brown, I've got my orange, I've got my white, all on that same brush. Okay, start in the corner, follow those lines, come above that eye, fill it in. Very light-handed with that brush, because you don't want to totally mix all those colors and create that flat color, okay? And then you're going to do the opposite side. I think I'm going to start on the other side of the corner, and I'll end in the corner. Just because of the way I'm sitting. All right, now I'm going to let this dry just a few minutes, all right? By the time we get into doing these pieces down here, those will be a little bit on the dry side. We can totally streak in a little bit more color. Okay, so brown, orange, whites come in through the bottom piece. All right. And don't be afraid to just mix up your colors just a little bit. All right. This time I added a little bit more white to that brush. A little bit more whites will change that color just slightly. Okay. All right. I will let you guys catch up as soon as we're done with this color. Okay. Do both sides. Now, if you end up going over your lines, not to worry, because we are going to add our black, okay? So there will be outlines of some sort in there still, okay? Not a big deal. All right. Okay. So you should have some really, really cool colors happening with your around your eyes, on your cheeks. Now, what I was talking about with adding color, okay, now that I'm done our cheeks, I'm going to go back to underneath my eyes. Now, this is where you can add a lighter or a darker or a different tone right onto that. All right, so I'm going to add a teeny bit of yellow, teeny bit of white, and just streak in just a little bit of a different tone right on top of those eyes. Sorry, not the eyeballs, but the color underneath his eyes and above the eyes. Just a light streak of color, you guys. All right, and then you're going to leave it be. Let it dry. Don't be afraid of your white. All right. Lots of people are really, really scared to use that white. And that sucks. All right. White just adds a little bit of a different tone with the wet color underneath it. That's all it does. Okay. So streak it in. If it's too light, go back to your darker color. All right. Okay, I think I'm happy with that. So that's what I've got going on. Lots of streaky color in there. It's all good. Okay. So when you're done with that, you're going to wash those brushes out. Okay. Next up, the darkest colors. All right, so wash those brushes when you're done. Okay, I'll give you guys a few minutes just to catch up. All right, so yeah. So wondering, what's everybody's plan for the week? Are you guys still working? Are you guys planning working out in the yards? Are you guys doing home renos? You know what I'm going to be doing. I'm starting to pack, hopefully, ASAP. But I do have 2 jobs coming up this week, plus windows. I have windows to do for Swirls Tuesday morning, and super excited about those. So, and just if you've known what I've done in the past over at Swirls, you know they're always windows to make everybody smile and laugh, right? Mark and Sandy are amazing people. They've owned Swirls now for, oh my gosh, 10 years at least, I think. But they always want something that's going to make the kids happy. And if you've been there within the last few years, you've seen the dairy cows that we painted up in the back of the walls in the ice cream shop after they did all their big renos a few years back. And they're fun. Big dairy cows. One's wearing a bikini. One is, I think there's one with an ice cream cone. But lots of fun. Just lots of fun. So this year they've just opened. I know we went last weekend and had a Cadbury egg Blizzard and Arctic Swirl. Sorry, Blizzard is Dairy Queen. Arctic Swirl. So I knew that they were open last weekend, so it was just a matter of time as to when they wanted their windows done. So with all of this craziness going on, they want to do the whole, yeah, I know, Sandy. Everybody has taken great lengths to do the physical distancing, and they're no different. They've got, the different sawhorses up, and stand 2 feet apart, or stay in your car until it slows down. It's just people need to do their part. But we're doing the whole positivity vibe on their windows as well. So lots of colorful rainbows, and they just want to remind everybody that we're all in this together. So I'm not going to tell you anything else. You're just going to have to drive by and see it. So lots of fun. I do post all of the pictures of the windows that I do. I try to remember. And then what else am I doing this week? I finished windows on last week, actually. If you've been to either one of the Safeways in town recently, they also are trying to give out that big positivity vibe. So the message that we put on their windows was everything's going to be okay. All right, just something as simple as that. And you know what? Everything will be okay. All right. Seems pretty sucky right now, but we'll come out of it. It's all good. When? Not sure, but hopefully sooner than later. But lots of rainbows and feel-good vibes on those windows as well. And then I've also got Exotic Touches windows. They have a really cool spring vibe on theirs as well. And I did Kirsten's over at Couture Hair Lounge. They're done as well. So it was a busy week last week. And I know I've touched on the fact that I've been working on this mural at one of the schools in town. It is done. It is amazing. And no, I can't show pictures of it until the kids get to see it, which really sucks. So stay tuned for seeing those hopefully in September when the kids are back. But yeah, that's probably one of the biggest murals I've ever been asked to do. It's huge. It's so big, but it is so big and so colorful, and it totally spruced up that whole library. So it's pretty amazing. So, and then this week, I'm just very, very thankful I'm still working, but I've got a house to paint with a small little mural, and I've got brick to paint in another house. So lots of cool things going on in my world, and packing. Packing. You see my eye twitching? It's starting to twitch. But yeah, fun. Hopefully we'll be able to get into the house ASAP, and I can start muraling that part of my world. It is. I know my dad likes doing that. It's always your parents are your biggest fans, and I love that. My parents always have been. So yeah, absolutely. Hop in the car, go point them all out. Or go take a walk. But yeah, so that's what I've got on the agenda this week. And of course, I'll be here on Wednesday at 2 and Friday at 6:30 again. And also remember, if you guys need supplies, all right, if you have any questions about supplies, shoot me a message. All right, so I can help you out any way I can. I know Amber at Paint of Interest also has supplies. So if I don't have something, or you live really close by to her, shoot her a message. All right. She's pretty awesome as well. So absolutely. I know she had canvas and brushes and paint, and I think she's selling stuff for it probably about the same price that I'm selling my kits for. So all of my kits are the same. if you are needing supplies, I give out 5 1-ounce cups of paint. All right, always start with the 3 primary colors. All right, red, yellow, blue, black, and white, because we always mix our own colors. Okay, you'll get 2 brushes, a paper plate, a glass for water, and paper towel. All right, and I've been giving out cards just in case you're wanting to do the rabbit that we did on Wednesday. So it's up to you. All right, kits are $15, and as well they come with canvas this size. Okay, if you do need just canvas and paint, absolutely let me know. Okay, I know Michael's is still open. I know the dollar store is still open. Michael's is still open. Or no, Michael's is still open, but they have curbside service and you have to order stuff online. Walmart's has paint as well. And I know I've been told that everybody in town is out of paint. I'm sorry. Some stuff you may have to have it delivered. Yes, shipping sucks a whole lot of monkey butt, but I know I've had to order stuff too. So it's just the way it is right now. All right. But if you have any questions, shoot me up a message. All right. Give me a shout. You can call me too. All right. I have my phone number on Facebook on my page. So if you don't want to shoot me a message, give me a call. All right. I'm absolutely can talk to you over the phone as well. Okay. So next up, let's get going on his face. All right. Well, the darker color on his face. So you should have a clean brush. After you've done that brown, orange, you're going to clean your brush. Okay. So next up, we're going to come in with the black. Okay. Now that black, I played around with a lot of my whites, my teals. There's a little bit of blue in there. Play around, okay? It is not a flat black, okay? Just remember that, all right? All right. So you're going to take that brush, go into your black, okay? And we're going to start with his forehead, okay? So forehead, I'm going to start above here. This is flat for 1 swipe, okay? It's going to be nice and thick and dark. I'm going to take that same brush, add a little bit of my teal to it, all right? Okay, and I'm going to start pulling that color along the top. Now, adding that teal to that flat black, look what it does, all right? It pulls in all those awesome tones, okay? So if it's too light, you can darken it, all right? Absolutely darken it up. You are absolutely covering all those sketch lines, okay? Oh, Home Hardware has acrylic paints. Yeah, you know what? I did know that. Home Hardware on the Hill, Home Hardware in Redcliffe, both of them still open. Thanks, Doreen. Yes, I did know that. And Cowtown Toys in Maple Creek. Awesome. Good to know. Good to know. I know I do have a few friends that are painting with me from Maple Creek and Leader and surrounding areas too. So that's good to know that there's paint out there. All right. So once you've got that one part of his forehead done, play around with your colors. Look what happens when you streak in a little bit of that yellow and white. All right. It just changes it a little bit. Okay. So from there, I'm going to do his eyebrows second. I'm not going to wash this brush. Okay. You want to have all those fun tones in there. So I'm going to go into my black, into my teal. I want to be able to see different colors on that brush. Okay. I'm going to start in between his eyeballs. I'm going to follow around that eye. And start filling in above that eye. All right. Now it's going to overlap that forehead just a little bit. Now I'm adding a little bit more teal. And then we're going to start coming around that side of his face. Okay? Play with your colors, you guys. All right, a little bit more white. We'll absolutely gray it up. Follow it around. And start pulling it around that side of his body. Okay, now when you come down around his face, okay, you're going to flick out. Okay, it's using that brush on the horizontal. You're going to follow it around and flick. Okay, it's an absolute flick of that wrist. Okay, so I'm going to come around. I'll bring it closer. Okay, so you're going to come around that edge. All right, and flick out. Flick out, out. That will give you those sharp little corners on the edge of that brush. Okay? Now, like I said, play with those colors. You can pull in those teals, you can pull in those whites. Absolutely, pull in a lot of those extra colors. All right? Lots of nice strokes of color. You can even pull in some blue, you guys. All right? A little bit of blue in there is going to look absolutely awesome. Now, you're going to pull that into your background just a little bit, all right, so that it is looking like he is in front of that background. Okay. Follow around those outlines and fill it in. Now, don't be afraid to continue to streak in that color, everybody. Okay? You should be able to see lots of tones from dark to light. All right? Make sure that you are using enough paint to cover the spots of those canvases. All right? Now, when you start to get into the front of him, remember, he is a fuzzy puppy. All right, you're going to start moving those brush strokes towards his center. Okay? Meaning, you can start pulling a few of those brush strokes towards that side of his body. Okay? All right, and then you're going to work towards the bottom of him, and then we're going to start on this side and come around as well and meet in the center. Okay? All right. Perfect. Okay. Now, like I said, don't be afraid to play around with those tones, all right? Whites, blues. You can streak in a little bit of blue, all right? A little bit of blue and white is just going to pull in a really, really cool shade of teal into that brush, okay? All right. Okay. Keep going, you guys. We are not too far from being done. Okay, so I've pulled down towards my center. I'm going to start at the top again. Okay, so remember, a little bit of your teal, a little bit of your whites, a little bit of your black. start in the center, pull it up, follow that curve around the eye, and then pull in that eyebrow. Completely, lightly overlapping it into his forehead. Okay? You can absolutely lighten it up so that it is a different entity than that forehead. All right? It does need to sit and not all become one piece. Okay? So I've added a little bit of whites in there. Now, the cool thing, before we start moving down to the side of his head, we're going to start pulling in that ear, all right? Because that ear kind of needs to fit right into the rest of his body, okay? So come from his forehead, a little bit of that black, and we're going to start turning the fur of his ear up towards that corner. Okay, and then follow that curve of his ear. All right, that ear needs to follow the curve of the underside of his ear. So we're going to continue on following that curve until we get to the side of his head. And it's into that eye, or not eye, but beside his eye. Okay. There, that's a little bit better of an angle, okay? And then we're going to follow through down from there, okay? All right, I am going to stop before I'm going to finish this off, and then I'm going to let you guys catch up, all right? So I know this is going really, really fast, but it needs to all happen at once so it doesn't dry, okay? So keep coming around that eye. I've added a little bit more of my teal to my brush because I'm loving that color. And I'm going to continue on with that color, streaking it down. Sheila. That's okay. I'm glad you're enjoying just watching. That's okay. All right. All right. So bring in those really, really cool shades of black, white, teal. Okay. Until you get to underneath that beard central. Okay. I can't wait to see what you guys have done with this guy. Like, he's just super fun. All right, don't fall. Okay, so I'm just going to move this so that I can get to the bottom here. All right, now remember, if you followed the curve on this side so that it worked into the center of his body, you need to do that on the other side as well. All right, just to create some balance. Okay, so we're going to work the same thing on the opposite side. All right. Lots of tones until he is completely covered. All right, now before you're done, all right, make sure to take that same brush and just streak in a few extra pieces of color. All right, meaning before it dries, I'm going to add a little bit of more of my teal on the top of my eyebrow. Okay, because I really like that color. Okay. I'm going to add the same thing on this side. And the thing is, if you are happy with the way it looks, leave it. All right. Don't go over something if you're unsure of it. If you're liking the way it looks, leave it alone. All right. You can muck with it and then end up not liking it at all. So just be very aware of that, okay? So I'm going to pull in a few more pieces just of a different hue. All right, my teal. Play around with my brush stroke. And the way it falls around that chest. All right. And then I'm going to let it dry. All right. Next thing will be that ear. But we'll give you guys a little bit of a chance to catch up first, I think. Okay. If it looks like it's starting to run into each other, you can absolutely separate that ear, all right, from the rest of him. All right. Okay. Awesome. How are your dogs looking? I hope they're looking amazing. I'm pretty happy with this guy. You know, we can always be our own worst critics, and that sucks. That is a sucky feeling. All right. The, not doing a good job, the always second guessing. And you know what? I'm probably one of the worst people to do that. I fake it. All right. It sucks. Okay, but you know what? You just got to go with it sometimes. I think I'm happy. All right. So once you have your body in, all right, you should have his ear in as well. Okay, I'm going to let you guys catch up. Okay, so I'm going to stick my brush in the water and just give it a rinse because I don't want it to dry with that color on it. And I'll let you guys catch up, okay? How are you doing, Judy? And Tony, Kiri, how are you guys doing? Amanda, how are you and the kids doing? You guys doing all right? Everybody catching up? I can't believe he's growing a man bun. That's funny. It was hilarious. Yeah, fake it till you make it. Simon actually let me braid his beard a couple weeks ago, and it was pretty funny. I told him I would make him look like a dwarf from Lord of the Rings. Who doesn't like that look? I know, it was awesome. I didn't think anybody would believe me, so I took a picture of that sucker. But yeah, I'm not allowed to show that sucker to anybody. So he's got the biggest beard right now. That's it's pretty cool. But I keep telling him I want to glitter it and I want to stick all those balls in it at Christmas, and he's like, "Are you crazy? No, not doing that." But that's okay. Tanya, that's awesome. I'm glad you did your dog. And yeah, it needs to look completely different. Absolutely. You know what? If you're painting your own puppy, it's going to look absolutely different. I know it's can be frustrating when you're trying to paint an exact replica of a family member, all right, your family pet. I've done 3 paint your pet sessions for people in town, different fundraisers we did 2 for the SPCA, and we had one for A Park, and I actually had 2 more ready to go for A Park. We were going to do them at Travois, one at the end of this month and one booked for May as well. And they go over really, really well. But I try to explain to everybody, I don't paint at those sessions. Everybody sends me a picture of their pet. I sketch that pet out for them so that when they show up, they've got that outline that we started with. That's what they start with. So we start with all of that. They get their paint and they get to go nuts with their own painting. So the thing is, we sit there I do them for 3 hours, and I'm just there just to help people with brushstroke and shading and blending, and just there to work around and help people out as they need it. But for those sessions, I encourage the pop art. I encourage the bright colors, because you'll never, ever, ever get an exact replica of your pet. It's not going to happen, because we're not photocopiers. Right? You can try, but it's never going to look exact. So rather than try to get an exact replica, it's just easier to go right off the wall and do almost like an Andy Warhol. All right, bright colors, really off the wall. Okay, it's just easier for people in their mental states. Just rather than seeing what they've done for their pets, and it's just not right. So the session that we had booked for the end of the month, it sucks, because obviously it's canceled, and I almost had another full group for that, which really sucks. But I'm wondering if I shouldn't still do the session, but just hook it up through like a platform like Zoom or something like that, so that people can still paint at home, but I can still help them out online. I don't know how I'm going to do that yet, but we'll see. All right. So next up, that ear. So same idea. All right. You're going to come in with your black and your extra color. And we're going to go over that outline, and fill in that ear. Again, lots of streaky color, you guys. All right. You should not be able to see any of your sketch lines after this. All right, not on the outside. Okay. Awesome. He's got a nice, really floofy looking ear. And I really liked that teal, so I'm going to pull in a little bit more of that color, that yellowy, bluey. All right. Lots of streaky color. Okay. So last but not least, it's pulling in that outlining. All right. So the outline, I am going to add just a little bit more of this color to the top here, because his ear is looking a little bit flat. Okay. Okay. So you're going to take your smaller brush. Okay. Smaller brush, you're going to wash this brush. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so smaller brush, black paint. Okay, now first thing I'm going to do, put in his pupils. Okay, because the eyes need to look like they are recessed in his head. So pupils first, so that we can go over top of them and go around them. All right, so pupils are big towards the top. All right, I usually plant my brush and spin it to make a circle. Okay. Now, central towards the top, that's where I've got this guy's eyeballs. All right. Now, They do need to be a pretty good size. You still want to be able to see the color around it, but you don't want them so small that they look like they've been running in a patch of marijuana out in the yard. Okay, so bring in your eyeballs first, okay? And then we're gonna start adding all of our little lines, okay? So line work with this base is very light, okay? Light pressure, light touches, okay? So I'm going to come in from his eyes. I'm going to start in the center and I'm going to come around that eye. All right, come around that eye. It is going to go slightly over top of that iris, okay, if it's right at the top. Now, you can also pull in a few little flicks that pull in a little bits of that eye. All right. Okay. And come underneath it. All right. Meet in the center. Come around. And go around the irises as well. Okay. That's one eye. Okay. Come in and do the other one. All right. Now, if the lines are too dark in there, what's one way that you can really lighten it up? All right, if it's too harsh, okay, you can wipe off what's on that brush, go back into your brown, and just lighten them up a little bit, you guys. All right, see, it's just adding a different tone. See what that does? Takes the harsh away and lightens it up, okay? Lightens the mood up just a little bit, okay? Always, always, always a way to pull out that harshness, all right? And if you like toning it down with that brown, you can pull it all the way around the top of that eye, okay? So then I'm just gonna go into my black and I'm gonna come around the opposite eye. All right, let's come around. All right. And I really liked that browny black. I'm gonna add the same few little lines through the lid. Okay, just to match them with the other side. And then you're going to come underneath that eye as well. And around those irises. Okay? So it's just coming in and outlining, you guys. All right? Now, a lot of our outlines are already in if you've already come in with your dark. All right, a lot of our outlines. But if you want to accentuate anything, all right, that's where we pull in this black. Okay, so I'm going to accentuate this line in here. And it's just going to drag on just a little bit. Okay, I'm just going to feather it just a little bit on that nose. And then I'm going to come in and do that little hump. And it's going to drag down just a slight edge as well, okay? And then we'll follow suit, come around that eye piece. Okay. And come around his cheek. Now when you come around, oh yeah, hold on, Tammy. There you go. Okay, so when you start to come around his cheeks underneath here, you need to kind of thicken this, okay? This piece here needs to be thickened just slightly to make it look like it's got that little edge where his mouth starts, okay? So I started on this side. I'm going to thicken it up just a little bit right in here, okay? All right. Okay, I'm going to finish the other side of his mouth and then I'll pull it up close again. Okay, ladies? All right, so come in on that opposite side. All right, I am going to start along the top, come around. All right, really accentuates around that edge around the mouth. All right, and bring in that black around that edging as well. Now you can pull in some really accentuated pieces of fur around his brownie parts. Okay, it's just dragging that brush just slightly and pulling it lightly. Like I said, it's a flick of that wrist to get that little tip. Okay, so I will pull it over. Just give me 1 second, everybody. All right. And then you're going to fill in this piece as well. All right. Okay. How are you guys doing? Hopefully everybody is doing spectacular. Okay. So from there, you're going to outline that tongue and pull in the slight little line that's slightly curved from at the top of his, right through here, and then slight little line right through the top of that darkest part. Okay. Awesome. All right. So more black paint. I'm going to start coming in towards that nose. In towards that nose. And like I said, slight line. Okay. Come around that tongue. All right. A little bit of a thicker tongue at the bottom, just to give it a little bit of a shadow. Okay. And then we're going to start pulling in that nose. Okay. So that nose, you're going to fill it all in with black. All right, fill it in. Meet that center. Meet that center. Come around the opposite side. Okay, it should absolutely be taller. And then fill it in. Okay. Fill it in. And then with the same brush, you guys, just a little bit of white on it. All we're gonna do is streak of white across the top and a little half circle on either side will give the illusion of nostrils. That is it. Okay. That is it. Now, if you wanted to play around with your colors, you can absolutely add a little bit of your teal or your blue in there. All right. If it just seems like it's just mixing in with that black, let it dry for a second, okay? All right, so last but not least, I'm gonna take that same brush and just come in and pull in a few extra little pieces. All right, so I'm gonna come around here. I'm gonna crisp up a few of these edges. Come in. Crisp them up. All right, and I'm going to do that on the opposite side as well. And crisp them up. Light brush will, and a flick of that wrist will absolutely pull in all of those crisp little edges around your fur. All right. You can also do the same thing around your outer edge. All right. Absolutely. Up to you, you guys. Okay. That's what's going to determine how fuzzy he's going to look. How absolutely fuzzy, furry. It's up to you how much you add. All right. If he's going to look like a complete fur ball, well, that's all right. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay. But take a look at it. All right. If it seems like he needs a little bit more of a tone, you can absolutely add a little bit more. All right. You can always add more, but be very aware that you can't take it off. All right. So need to remember where to stop or figure out when to stop. Okay. So find that line that says, nope, I think I'm done. All right. Simon, are we still doing supper with Noah?
What?
Doing supper with Noah?
I asked you.
Well, when are you putting in that?
It doesn't take long. It takes like an hour.
Okay, well, we were going to eat before Griffin went to work, so you best be getting it in there. All right, so last but not least, I'm going to use the same brush.
He works at 5. It ain't freaking happening.
All right. Okay, so next up, 2 streaks on that nose with that teal. All right, same brush, use with the black. It needs to be nice and dark. A little bit of that teal, a little bit of that white. I'm going to streak in 1 streak through here. That might be a little bit too dark. And on this side as well. And then all you're going to do is take your brush to the opposite side, take out your wooden handle, okay? Give him 1, 2 more whites. 1, 2. Okay? That's what we got. All right. So that's it, you guys. That is our Aussie puppy. Okay. Now, what I usually do now is add anything for highlights. I am going to add a little bit more on top of that nose. A little bit more of a highlight around those nostrils. I'm going to take a little bit of white and streak in one line down his tongue, one along the side of his tongue, and just add a few little highlights, you guys. All right, nothing huge. Okay. And then sign your painting and paint your edges. That is it. So if you're signing it, bottom right hand corner. Sign your painting, own it. And then what I usually end up doing is, yeah, those white dots absolutely bring it to life. The reflective surfaces, absolutely. They make it totally. So with my bigger brush, I always paint my edges. All right, so I don't even watch where I'm painting. I just pull it forward, put my brush flat, and paint my edge. Now, edges are tricky, okay? You do need to pull it over just slightly, okay? And you're gonna do your sides, and when your top is dry, you'll flip it over and paint your bottom. Okay, and that is it. We are pretty much done. So I hope you guys had fun on this awesome Sunday afternoon. I'm going to turn this just a little bit so I can see what the heck I'm doing here. My body doesn't completely turn that way. All right. Awesome. Okay, so once you're done, it's looks like puppy. I'm kind of happy. Puppies are not easy to paint. They're not. All right. So if you've got a puppy, awesome. Great job. Your right is our left. Yes. I haven't figured out how to switch the camera. So thank you, Sandy. Yeah. Make sure that your signing is on your right, not this right where it shows left. Okay. So anyway, thank you guys for popping in today. And I hope you guys had fun doing the Australian Shepherds. And like I said, if you weren't able to make it for the live event, you can absolutely wait for it to shut down. It will post and then you can play it back again. Okay. So hope you had a good time. Hope this was awesome for you guys with the Aussie Club. And we'll see you guys again on Wednesday or Friday or whenever you guys tune in again. All right. Thank you, Danica. I cannot wait to see yours. Awesome. I'm glad you were painting with us today. All right. So, like I said, Wednesday, Spider-Man. Friday will be the grain elevators. Okay. And yeah, if you need help with supplies, please give me a shout. All right. And enjoy the rest of your weekend, you guys. All right. Talk to you soon. Bye.